Hello and welcome to Andy Shed Live for Sunday the 26th of September 2021. This is Series 9, Episode 12. Hello there everybody and welcome to the show. I hope you're enjoying yourselves this Sunday evening. We're just waiting for everybody to arrive in the chat and things and appear, because it takes a while for people to get online when we start, we've discovered. So, and YouTube is serving an ad right now to certain people who are watching live. So they won't have been able to join us yet. So if they come to the stream and wait for the stream to start and get the countdown thing, they get an ad before we start. So I'm just waiting for people to basically appear. So most of you should be here now. We've got Dominic in the room, we've got Wesley, we've got Christopher 2000, we've got Jimmy as well. So the usual suspects, welcome to the show for this Sunday evening. I have raced back from Hedge Windmill today. God, there were a lot of people at that Hedge Windmill. Luckily I was behind a barrier and so 2 meters away from them all. But absolutely zero social distancing, and people wonder why COVID is still catchy. Honestly, the behaviour of people there today was just nonsensical. But I'm back and managed to keep away from them. Like I say, I was behind a barrier, thankfully. I wouldn't have gone if I hadn't been. So I've managed to survive, at least for this week. If I'm not in next week, though, you know what's happened. So here we are. It's just a relatively short show this evening, mainly because not a lot has happened this week except for some arrivals. The videotape machines have arrived. They are here and they are huge. I'll take you to have a look at them in just a few moments time. But before we get cracking tonight, just time to tell you, as usual, if you want to get in touch with us here at the show, if you're watching live, of course, you can join the chat, which you should be able to see somewhere there. But if you're not watching live, if you're watching after the event or something, you can either leave a comment on the video or you can get in touch with us by email. The way to do it is initially send us a message on a contact form from our website, which you will find here at andyshed.colepress.net. That's the website, andyshed.colepress.net, and you can leave us a message there on a contact form if you want to. And if you like what we do here, remember, consider becoming a Patreon if you're not already. I know quite a few of the people who are already online watching this are, but if you're not a patron already, if you're just the equivalent of £1 a month, support the show at patreon.com/AndysShed. And it's nearly all out of the way. One more thing to tell you about is why not have a look at our forum when we're off air as well, where you can continue chatting even when we're off air via the forum. That's a little bit of a different address, the forum. It's gpotelephones.proboards.com. It's gpotelephones.proboards.com for all things GPO telephone, British telephone, and well, anything else you want to talk about as well, really, because there is a general chat bit on that as well. Right, what's everybody been up to this week? Have you all been having fun? Has it been a good week for you all? The weather's not been too bad this week. I've been out in the garden doing various bits and pieces before winter comes, because it's definitely on its way now, and it's feeling autumnal. It's starting to get dark outside here, even at 6 o'clock now. So winter is definitely on the way. It's coming. Right, let me put you all on live chat, because I've got that silly top chat thing that it defaults to that is absolutely hopeless. Because when you switch it to live chat, if you want looking at top chat, switch it to live chat and you'll see loads of things that you couldn't see on top chat. It's stupid, the top chat thing. Dominic says, I visited the NRM yesterday and I saw an ivory gecko phone and a very early ivory 706 in the Royal Carriage exhibit. He did indeed, and he sent me a photo. I'll try and find the photo in a minute. Chris says, did you get the pictures of the old Comet train I sent? They're somewhere here, Christopher. We are well behind with pictures and things at the moment. I will have a look and see if I can find them. Hang on, where are we? This is where it's all likely to go wrong. One moment, please, as Big Clive would say. We are working on it. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Ooh. Oh, Dominic's completed his red phone as well. His 746L. He's done that. I can hopefully show you a photo in just a moment. Just bear with me 1 moment and we'll see what we can do. Just got to try and crop that a bit more like that. Right, I think I've cracked it. Just bear with me a sec. Yes, I think I've managed it. So yeah, here's Dominic's phone that he's completed. His red 746L. All done. Look, it's looking good. That it's got the proper dial bezel and things on it now, and it's also got the proper line code on it. Quite clever what he's done there. He's used the original line code between the phone and the junction box, and then a modern line code, I assume, from the junction box to the wall. I assume that's what he's done there. But quite clever that. I'm quite impressed with that. Right, who else has been sending us photos just recently? Oh, the Royal Train telephone that Dominic took a picture of is here. Apparently these are in the Royal Train in the carriage in the National Railway Museum at York, and you can see there is indeed a very strange gecko phone there, and an early 706, I think it is. Now Dominic says they're ivory, but they don't look ivory from that photo. They look grey, and they both look, I mean, they don't look it now, but in the original photo they look kind of the same colour. And I was wondering if they'd been painted to match the interior of the train. What I was wondering, but I don't know. Well, there is that, you know, they've got previous for painting gecko phones, because there have been some in hotels and things that have been painted before. So that is possibly painted. It doesn't look yellowy enough to be natural ivory, that gecko phone, so I'm willing to bet that's painted, but I don't know for certain. Right, what else have we got? Oh, and Christopher's been on the old coming train and the new HCMT train as well. So here's what they're getting. These look horribly like something we've got over here. These do, Christopher. Yeah. This looks horribly like something we've got over here that is actually built by Hitachi. I don't know if it is the same or not, but it looks very similar. Yeah, I'm not keen on these trains with a sort of slanting nose. Like I just don't like that design in general. Not keen on that. And here's the old trains that they're replacing. Now I prefer that personally. I prefer that one. I don't know what you all think, but I prefer that one. I'd rather have that one. That's more the thing, I would say, and get a better shot of it. Hang on a minute. There. So that's the old 1980s comic train. And there's two of them together, two slightly different variants together. There, but they're more sensible. They're more train shaped, I think. So yeah, I'd rather have those. But there you go. Sorry, Hitachi. Right. And Christopher's found some old telephones at Lilydale Station, wherever Lilydale Station is. I'm sure he'll tell us. It says, "Hi Andy, here's some preserved telephones at the former railway signal controller that have been displayed disactivated but left in place. I think with old wall-mounted PMG 891s. The black 891 wall phones were only supplied to railways. So these are disactivated. Look like they're in some kind of display at the Lilydale Railway out there in Australia. So never let it be said we're not international on this show. Dominic agrees with me. He says the Hitachi trains are terrible, I have to say. There's a nickname for them, but it's a bit too rude to repeat on here. I can't think what you mean, Dominic. Actually, the Hitachis are awful. But the first ones that appeared in this country, that appeared with southeastern trains, were actually pretty good. The ones that run down High Speed 1 into Kent, those ones were pretty good, because I travelled on one when they were doing what they called the preview service before they took over the main service from London to Kent. I was changing trains actually. I was going to see a friend of mine who lives down in Kent, and I was in St Pancras station and I was changing trains to get down to Kent, and there was this dark bluey purpley brand new train sat in the platform, and it said that we're doing the preview service, would you like to travel on this? And so I went and sat on it, and I think there's only me on my Jack Jones on it. I don't think there was anybody else on the entire train. And what struck me about it is there were no end of carriage bulkheads in it. The corridor connectors on the train were the full width of the carriage. So when you sat in the train, and the train was straight, you could see right down the train, right through however many carriages it was, 8 or 9 carriages or whatever it was. And when it set off out of St Pancras station to go down High Speed 1, it was like being fired out of a gun. It pushed you back into the seat. If you've ever been on one of those roller coasters, that's what they call air launch, where they basically build up a load of compressed air in a cylinder behind you, then shove the train off when they release it. That's how this Hitachi left St Pancras Station. It was sat there back in your seat like that as the train pulled out. But the other ones that have gone onto other bits of the British network don't seem to have been as good. So I wonder if there's some specification difference between them. I don't know. Dominic says, I like to think of those Javelin units like the earlier BMC cars before British Leyland took over, and everything since like anything Longbridge made in the 1970s. That's a good point, Dominic. Yes, that's a very, very good point. What Dominic is trying to say is that one that I travelled on was a decent train, then somebody else took over Hitachi and started making terrible trains. But yeah, so that doesn't hold out much hope for the new ones that Christopher's got to suffer in Melbourne, does it? Because they'll be brand new ones, so they'll probably be terrible. Sorry, Christopher. Yeah. So the HCMT trains, what does HCMT stand for? What can we make HCMT stand for? Dominic, what can we make HCMT stand for? HCMT, rather. Horrible, costly, modern train. Horrible, costly, modern train. That's what it stands for, Christopher. HCMT. Horrible, costly, modern train. See if you can make that stick in Australia. Yeah, it started here. Have you ever heard of first buses being called Barbie buses because of the sort of purple and pink livery? The first buses, it's called Barbie livery. Do you know who started calling it Barbie livery? I think I started that. Where it says, good old Google. HCMT stands for High Capacity Metro Trains, says Wesley. No, I think it stands for Horrible Costly Modern Train. Can we change Wikipedia to make it stand for Horrible Costly Modern Train and see how long it stays there? Yeah, somebody yell at Wikipedia, make it stand for Horrible Costly Modern Train, and then put this video as a reference to it. HCMT stands for Horrible Costly Modern Train. Cool. Yeah, I think we should do that. Let's mess with it. Great. Yeah, I don't like new trains. No, sorry. No, sorry. It's not. I won't want to go across Australia on one of them. On a Hitachi train. And go across Australia on one of those. No, I don't think so. I don't think I'd want to do that at all. Oh, apparently they're made in China. Is that these horrible, costly modern trains, Dominic? Are they the ones that are made in China? Might be alright if they're made in China. If you want to say made in England on them, you have to worry. Yes. Yes. We don't worry about what's on the railway here, you see, because nobody can afford to travel on it anyway. So we don't worry about what's on it. Wesley says we had a Hitachi TV once. It lasted for years. Yes, Hitachi TVs are all right, but what does somebody that makes TVs know about building trains? That's what you have to ask yourself. Apparently the HCMT train, the Horrible Costly Modern Train, will only be on one line. So when it fails, it won't disrupt anything else. A bit like the Matlock branch here. The Matlock branch off the Midland Main Line here uses one train that shuttles up and down it. And whenever they have a new train, they always put it on the Matlock branch, because if it goes belly up, it doesn't affect anything else on the network. It's one of the places where they test new trains. The Matlock branch here, and they have gone belly up on there before now. I think it was where they tested Pacers and that years ago, all that kind of thing. Right, cool. So that's all excellent stuff. But yeah, so Christopher's found a railway only wall phone there, we think, which is rather good. I think I quite like that. Like that more than the modern train, the horrible costly modern train. Right, we'll have an update then, Christopher, when the horrible costly modern trains start, and we'll see how wrong it goes. Can't be any worse than the railways here. It just can't be. The railways here are terrible. I've got Hornby trains that run better than our proper ones. Christopher says he got to have a go on the Lilydale signal controller. The one of the pictures that he sent. Are there more pictures? Let me have a look. I think there might be more pictures. Oh yeah. No, here's a different picture of the phone, if I can show it. There you go. There's another picture of the phone. That's an interesting one, because it looks like a magnetophone, because it's got the windy handle on the side. Very interesting design is that. And also he's got some more, hasn't he, somewhere? Oh, here's the this looks like the Lilydale. Oh, it's the Lilydale signal panel. Quite a interesting panel, that. Quite a big. Is this on a preserved railway then, Christopher? That's quite a complex panel to be on a preserved railway, I would have thought. And this I like in the display cases. This appeals to my sense of humour. Return of sundry creditors for month. Hang on, there you go. Return of sundry creditors for the month. So somebody had creditors, or has got creditors, or something. And I like that book seems to be preserved in the display cabinet. I think that's rather good. Christopher says the horrible costly modern trains are already in service in Melbourne. So they're there already. Nasty trains made in China. What has China ever given us that we actually wanted? Dominic says that looks vaguely like the NX panels in the UK. It kind of does, doesn't it? I wonder if there's some sort of common heritage of these panels between UK and Australia. Like there's common heritage in some of the telephones and things, but yeah, that is a interesting looking panel. That is. Why do they always seem to do them blue? That's what I want to know. Why do railway signal panels always seem to be blue? Never have been able to quite figure that one out. Oh, hang on, what's happened there? No, it's all gone wrong. Hang on. There we go. We're back to normal. It all went a bit Pete Tong there for a minute, but we've got it back now. I think. Have we come back where we should be? Yeah, I think we have. I think we're back on what we should be on now. Looks more like it anyway. Now, right, okay. Alright, I can. So you've been signaling trains then, Christopher, according to this. Where he says, I think the Chinese games that we actually wanted was chow mein. Yeah, and possibly sweet and sour chicken balls as well. I'll give them that. I'll allow them to make tea. I'm not sure I'll allow them to build trains. Not 100% certain on that one, but oh well, there we go. Right, that is it. By the way, while we are talking about Australia and things, I still got the dial here that Christopher sent. That's to go in an Australian 400 series Bakelite phone. Unfortunately, the phone has still currently got a British dial 21 glued into it. If anybody knows how we can unglue the dial 21 from the Bakelite phone without damaging the dial and without damaging the phone, if you've got any suggestions, please let us know. Because, well, we're kind of wanting to know how we might do it. Right, it is more or less the moment when I need to go and show you the video machines, isn't it, that have arrived. So I'm just firing up the mobile camera so I can walk about with the camera, which takes a bit of getting going. It's a bit like me. It needs a while to warm up. Are we on? Oh, we're on. We're on. We've managed it. Hang on. Let's turn that around. Crikey. Yes, I think it's working. That looks better.
I think it's working.
Yeah, it's working.
I think it's working. That looks better. Yeah, it's working. Now I have to turn that one off, turn this one on, and hopefully you can still hear me. Because it goes a bit quiet when we have this on for some reason. I don't know why, it just does. Right, now I can't see the chat now for a few minutes, so just bear with me. If you want me to see it, don't put it in the chat for a few minutes now. So we will leave the bright light of there and come through it into the gloom. And we'll have a look at these very chunky videotape machines that have arrived. Now, I've got 5 of them. Five of these machines have arrived. Here, though, is just 2 of them. Hang on. So, here's 2 of them, and they're sat here mainly because they're sat at the side of a TV, which they're not coupled up to yet because we've got problems coupling them to the TV. But we can set them going. Hang on, let's have a think. I've got to plug things in. There's a rat's nest of wires down here, so I've got to plug that in there like that, and then hopefully this will spring into life. So what you're going to do then is you press power on here, and it makes a creaky noise and something happens. Now there is one problem with this, in that this video tracking meter doesn't seem to work. It's not lit up or anything. You'll notice the others are lit up. The machine below, it works. They all light up on that one. But this one, that doesn't light up. But it does seem to do things when you put a tape in there. So we will have a go, shall we, at putting a tape in. Right, just bear with me one moment. And what we'll actually do is we'll take the lid off so you can see what's happening inside this machine. I've got a toolbox here that I've put here because I kind of knew this was going to happen. So, screwdriver, and we'll whip the lid off this machine. Right, hang on, turn you around again. Right, you turn around now. Very strange. Are we back? I hope we're back. It all went a bit Pete Tong again. Right, I think we should be back on now. As I was saying, very strange screws in the top of this. They kind of, I say screws, but they have got a little hole in the middle, which I think you can actually put a little Allen key in. But I've been taking them in and out with a standard screwdriver, and they are relatively long. And all they do is hold the top on. That is literally all they do. There's one. Talk amongst yourselves while I do this. Now, luckily, these have had the filter capacitor in the power supply changed, so they've not gone fizz on me when I've turned them on after many years, because the guy I bought them off did change the filter caps in the power supplies, what were originally reefer brand capacitors that are known for going pop. However, one of the units, he hadn't changed it, and of course I plugged that one in the other day and it went pop and filled the room with smoke and smelt like you would not believe. But I think this one is pretty much okay. Right, so that's that, and now we can just lift this lid off. It just lifts straight off, and now you can see basically what is inside a u-matic video machine. And not a lot you can get at, but this is where Sony are quite clever, at least with their semi-professional stuff, in that it's not as packed with circuit boards as you think, because if you press that little plastic clip back there and press that little plastic clip back there, this lot is hinged, which I think is just brilliant. And there are other circuit boards in the sides and the bottom and things that are hinged as well, but you take that out and then you see the general gubbins inside a u-matic video machine, and this is where you find out why it's called a u-matic, because if I can find a tape, and I've got a tape here somewhere. Here we go, Sony video cassette, KCA60. Now these tapes are massive. If I put my hand on it, you'll see it's huge. So much bigger than a VHS cassette. So much bigger, which is in turn bigger than a Betamax cassette, of course. Hello, the clock's chiming at me. What time is it then? Oh, 6:30. But yeah, this is a huge, huge cassette, and interesting in that it doesn't spool the tape off of there and onto there like that. It kind of goes across the middle, so the tape path goes round like that and round like that and round like that. So it does a kind of figure of 8 movement. And what happens is the reels are put in, one is put in this way up, the white plastic reel, and one is put in the other way up, because the tape always takes up all the centre space. But no matter if some of it's on this reel or some of it's on that reel or it's all on one reel, the thickness of the tape, which I don't know if you can see, it's all on that reel at the minute, it's that thick, it takes up pretty much all the centre space there. So if it was on that reel, it'd take up that bit of space there. So the reels kind of overlap. So we'll stick it in and we'll see what happens. So I have to put it in, and then it trips. As I push the tape in, it will trip a little sensor here. There we go, and in it goes. And it immediately starts to thread it. I don't know if you saw that. What I'll do is I'll eject it again. And then let you watch it thread. There you go, ready? So it's immediately started to thread the tape round the drum there. And you'll see why it's called u-matic, because it threads the tape round. This is the video drum here with 2 heads on it. It threads the tape round in a sort of U shape, which if I set it to play, you'll see it do. There you go, the head starts up, and the tape is now running in a kind of U shape. You can see tape there, so it goes round there, round there, round here, round here, and then it kind of loops back, then tight on the drum, round the drum, round here, and then back into the cassette here. So it does a U shape. So that is now theoretically playing, and I know there's something on this tape when it gets going. Let's try fast forward it a bit, and you'll see that go back to the fast forward position. The tape is now whirring away. So we'll fast forward it. It's got a digital counter in minutes and seconds. It only goes up to, it actually goes up to about 62 minutes, because that's actually about 62 minutes on a 62-minute tape. If I stop it there and press play again, you'll see it complete the thread again. There you go. And it's playing now. Play is illuminated on there, and if you look at those audio meters, those VU meters, you'll see they're moving. So there's definitely some audio on that tape. Now, as I say, I've not got it connected to anything at the minute, and the reason being is that the connectors are a bit strange on it. It's got old what they call BMC connectors that used to be used in video and radio and that. There they are. And I've got to find a way of interfacing them up to a modern TV. So I've got to get some adapters and things to do it. But at least the tape is going round and it's playing. And you can see there that the reels are, like I say, it does a figure of 8 shape. So the reels are going in opposite directions. So the tape is at the moment coming off of this reel onto that reel. So it's going that way across the machine. Normally tape goes that way in a machine, but not on this. This goes that way. Don't you can see there's an arrow on the drawer there that says it goes from right to left, which it is doing. And there you can see it doing that. So it's coming off this reel here, up the middle and onto that reel there. And if you're wondering what all the little red lights are inside here, they are tape sensors. They are optical tape sensors that will stop it if the tape breaks or if it gets to the clear leader part on the end of the tape. That's why the ends of the tapes are clear. So these optical sensors trigger when it realises there's not a tape there. But there it is. If I press pause now, it should just stop, but the drum should keep spinning. So let's see what happens. So there it is. The tape has now stopped. It stayed threaded and the drum is still spinning for the video. I release the pause. Tape begins to move again. And if I press stop, then it should partly unthread. And I think the drum should spin down as well. So it unthreads to there and the drum slows down. And then if I press eject, the rest of it will quickly unthread and the tape will come out. And there you have it. There is the cassette, safely out and not mangled. So how brilliant is that? So there's just one of these Sony machines. There you can see there's two stacked up here. These two machines are VO 5850Ps, and I've got another VO 5850P, and then the other two that I've got in this batch are different. Don't ask me what they are at the minute, I can't remember, but they're VO something or other. They're not BVO. The proper broadcast ones that recorded a higher bandwidth had the designation BVO. But these were used in broadcast too, because before they had the BVO variant, which came out later, these were used. So that is it. I can reset the counter. So there they are. So we think this one's probably going to work, being it's not got a little sticker on it that tells me it doesn't. The one below has got a sticker on that tells me it doesn't. It says no colour, heads are good, power supply okay, but no colour. So that's probably only going to play in black and white for some reason, which I believe is something to do with this circuit board on here. So might have to swap that out for one out of another machine to get that going. But we're going to be trying these this coming week and we'll see what happens with them. Right, I will shut that back down and we will put the lid back on it. I'll turn it off before we put the lid back on it. Right, switch off. Dink. That's it. It's off. Right, lid goes back on. My dodgy camera work. Like that. And screws should go back into those holes. Let's see if they actually do. Well, that one has done. So these are the u-matic video machines. U-matic as a format came out around about the beginning of the 70s. Some people say 1969, some people say 1971. I think it depends where you were in the world. But it was originally a Sony format. I don't know if anybody else made... Oh, I think JVC at least made u-matics, as well as Sony. Well, I know they did because there's one here, sat on the floor. But I don't know if anybody else made them or not. It was originally supposed to be a home video format, but the machines to play them and record them were so expensive that nobody could afford them. But TV companies suddenly realised they could use them for news gathering. And so u-matics were the first machines at the beginning of what they now call electronic news gathering. So machines similar to this are what started that. Previous to that, news was done on film, believe it or not, usually 16mm film, that had to be filmed and then rushed off to a lab and then back to the television station before it could go out on air. So the step change in television news when these came out must have been phenomenal. So there you have it, all back together. That is the Sony u-matics. Good, aren't they? But these tapes are absolutely huge and quite heavy, and the machines themselves don't even go there about the weight of the machines. Just don't even go there, okay? But these ones, I can pick these up by myself. I don't need help to pick these up. The original Sony ones from the early 70s, you know, if you try and pick them up by yourself, you will do yourself an injury. Because they are phenomenally heavy. So yeah, that is u-matic video. Right, just unplug everything. I thought you'd like to see that. And we'll go back, shall we? As the sun goes down behind me. Right, go back this way now. It's dark. Really not keen on the dark. Right, hang on, we'll be back in the light in a moment. There you go, I've seen the light all of a sudden. Right, I am back, at least for the time being. I'm back in front of a camera. So let's see what's going on.
And here we are, and I've managed to turn the right microphones up as well, I think, hopefully. So, what's everybody been saying in the chat and things? I shall bring it back up on here, and we'll have a little look. I've got silly top chat back again. Live chat, that's what I want. Right, what's everybody been saying? Just bear with me a second while I read through it. Dominic says there's a great, this is going back to railway signalling, says there's a great turn push panel you can see at the Didcot Railway Centre. I've not been to Didcot for years. I have been, but not for a very, very long time. There's also liking the idea of sweet and sour pork balls. Yeah, so am I, making me hungry now. Dominic says, these later u-matics do sound interesting. They are. They literally sound interesting. It's when you press a button and it goes clunk and things start whirring inside it. That's what I like. In this world of touchscreens, where you're not actually moving anything physically, it's all done inside a silicon chip, where you're actually pushing buttons that then move solenoids and start motors and make levers move and that. It's properly old school, isn't it? Dominic says BNC connectors. Yes, Dominic, BNC connectors. I'll show you one in a minute. Where it says it'll just be composite video then, so it should be easy enough to interface. Yeah, it is. It is composite video, Wesley. It's just that I've got to get a lead that's got a BNC connector on one end and like a phono plug on the other end, because that's what video intends to be on relatively modern-ish stuff. And finding what's got one on one and one on the other end, or phono to phono with a BNC connector adapter, has just foxed me at the minute. They are available. I can order one from Farnell tomorrow, but I've just not got round to it yet. Dominic says there was a very good video on the Betamax machines by Technology Connections a couple of years back. I'll have to have a look at that one, Dominic. Not got a Betamax. I've never owned a Betamax machine. Dominic says, I'd love to get a 16mm camera, but the cost of film and processing is just silly money now. Yeah, it is. Very much so. Wesley says, video recorders in general were extremely expensive in the early 80s, regardless of the format. Yeah, they were. But these sort of early 80s-ish, but I've got some that go back to the early 70s, some of the very first u-matics that came into this country, and they're huge. I've shown one on the show before. And they were devised as a home format, but nobody could afford them. You know, because they were, in today's money, you'd probably be talking somewhere getting on for £10,000, maybe even more for one. So of course nobody could afford them, except for like television stations and some big institutions like big schools and places like that. Although I must admit, when I was at school, we didn't have u-matic videos. We had V2000 and VHS and Betamax, and I had to live with it. But what saved u-matic, even though it was mega expensive, was that the tape was relatively wide. It's 3/4 inch tape. It runs at a fair old pace through the machines. It runs quite quickly through the machine, and so the bandwidth is reasonably good, and so the picture quality is quite good, and far better than VHS and things that came along later. And so that's why u-matic survived, because the TV companies realised it was good enough for news, and so that's what became the main use of them. Christopher says, did you get the picture of the old camera that I sent? I've not seen them, Christopher. I've not seen them, so maybe I've missed them, because I have had a heck of a lot of email this week, so maybe I missed it. Christopher also says, what does the base look like under the GEC phone on your desk? I can show you. Nothing exciting. Hang on. I can't get it any further. Oh, I can. It's a little wire. Hang on. This foxes me every time when I have to. There you go. It's nothing exciting, look. Nothing exciting at all. There's nothing written on it or anything. It's just, that's it. It has, though, interestingly, got what they call the domed feet, i.e. the ones that haven't got the recess in the middle. There you go. That's one question answered. Oh, Gambo's here. Evening, Gambo. He says, hey peeps, made it this week. I'm kind of in between three things at the mo. Watching Andy, watching my eBay items, and cooking dinner. Three good things there. What are you buying on eBay? What are you after? Is it something big and heavy? Does it say u-matic on it? Dominic says, same with eBay. He's doing it as well. Everybody's buying stuff off eBay tonight. Let me know if you win anything, people. Gambo says, mine finishes in 6 minutes. And that was 1854, and it's what, 1855 now, so 5 minutes now. 5 minutes, Gambo, and then we'll see what it is. Chris says, maybe pry it with a screwdriver in between the dial and the case. I assume it means this is about the 400 series phone. I don't really want to do that because I think it might damage the case. Oh, Gambo, selling. You're selling, not buying, Gambo. Is that right? I wonder what he's selling. What are you selling? Put in the chat what you're selling. Somebody might jump on and put a bid on if it's something that they want. Right. Why is I'm watching this back on YouTube. Why on the thing that I'm watching back am I so ridiculously behind that I've still got the top off the u-matic video machine? See, that's how it goes wrong. That's what it does. Hang on, let me stop it all and see if I can get any more sense out of it. Apps and notifications, YouTube. It's force stop. Okay. Alright. Bear with me one moment. No, it's serving me an ad. There we go. Right, here we are. Gumbo is selling apparently 2 Bakelite pendant cradles and handsets. I saw those. I nearly bid on those. Dominic says you'll have to show us some Aussie next week, Andy. Dominic is referring, of course, to the fact that I have got a tape that says Ozzy Osbourne across it. So we may have got some lost footage of Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah, well, Sharon, we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can discover for next week. See if it's a YouTube content match. Gosh, you never know with this lot. Right, in just a moment we will go and have a look outside. It'll be probably the last look outside of the year because it's starting to get dark outside. We'll do it in just a minute. While we're waiting to do that, I'll just catch up on a bit more of the chat if I possibly can. Wesley says chow mein is his Chinese of choice, I think. Oh, Christopher says that signal panel was at Lilydale Station on the real train network, not on a preserved railway. So sorry, I got that totally wrong. There it would seem. Right. Shall we go and take a look what is happening outside once again? as we do this, I will be disappearing from view of the chat for a moment or two. Hang on, it's not come back up on there. Oh, I've got to press that. Then hopefully in about 30 seconds it'll come back up. It's come back up, I think. Are we back up? Yes, we're back up. There we are. Yes, we're back up. There we are. There we are, we're back up now. Right, shall we go and have a look outside before it gets totally dark? Look how dark it is out there, and it's only like 7 o'clock. Right. We'll go and we'll do it. Bonfire night soon. I'm tempted to do some live fireworks from somewhere. Do you know of anywhere sort of in South Yorkshire, North East Derbyshire that's doing live fireworks this year? Anybody? If you do, let me know. I'm tempted to go and try and do a YouTube live from it. No. Hello. And as it said that, I've had a notification pop up on my phone about a firework display in Blackpool. But there you go. Right, so here we are in the garden, and a lot of it has gone. You'll see, horror of horrors, the potatoes have gone. And that's because they're here drying. This is half of the crop. This is 2 rows worth. There were 4 rows in total. This is half of them that are drying off. I've got a problem in that there's quite a few grub holes or wormholes or something in them if you look at that. So some of them are not very good. Not all of them, some of them's okay. Some of them haven't been attacked, but some have. Now to stop that, I was told put lime under them. When you dig the trench to set them, put lime in the hole. If you watch the video of me setting them, you'll see that I put lime in the hole. And that was supposed to stop these grubs. It obviously does not work. Yeah, so there's a big gap in the garden now. This garden is going to be transformed next year. I'm hoping next year that we're going to put a big lawn and that on this thing. The sweet corn is also looking a bit sick, and it's not really developed much. The corn cobs on it are not ripe inside. I looked at one the other day. They've not ripened enough. So I'm hoping these have still got a chance, I hope, to ripen up. I think part of the problem with this is that it's been so dry. Don't know if you can see, but the ground is absolutely bone dry. No matter how much you water it, it's soon dry again. That'll change in winter. You'll come out and it'll be a quagmire in about a month's time. But of course then it'll be too cold for anything to grow. So whether the sweet corn will ripen in time is open to debate. And talking of ripening in time, another thing that we don't know if it's going to ripen in time or not are peppers. Now we have got some peppers in here. If I can switch around again, I will show you the peppers. Here's the plants. These are pepper plants. Not pepper pigs, but pepper plants. And there you go, you see, peppers. Oh, and some of them's quite big. These are supposed to be foot-long chilies. These are. Well, they're not a foot long, as you can see, but they're big enough. I'd be happy if they ripened at that stage. I'd be quite happy for them to do that. So, yeah, they are getting there. I've just seen a plant that wants a bit of water. Shall I water it while I'm here? I think that would probably be a good idea. So I'll just do a little bit of plant watering. I'll put you down there just for a second.
I'm going to go and grab some water out of this water button out here. It's a cucumber I'm watering, by the way, just in case you're interested. I do these two as well. Some of the peppers will also want some water tomorrow, but I'll do them tomorrow because they'll want feeding as well when I do them. Tomatoes are looking very weedy now because I've taken most of the leaves off because they suffered from late tomato blight, but there are still a few yellow tomatoes on there. That's a nice one. We can pick that one actually. That's ready. As indeed is that one. And possibly even that one there. Let's have a look. Yep, that looks good. So tomatoes are coming towards the end of the growing season here. But we have had a lot of tomatoes off these this year. We've had a lot. So they've done really well. Not bad for pound shop tomatoes. I got these a packet of seeds I got out of the pound shop last year. Grew them last year. Saved my own seeds off last year's tomatoes, and that's what's grown this year. So they're cool, aren't they? Rather good. So that's what's out in the greenhouses and out in the garden and that at the moment. Put the lid back on the water button there. And I think I can probably lock all this up while we're out here. Save me coming out again after dark. Right, let me put you down a minute. And there a sec. You can tell it's live and unrehearsed by how difficult everything is. Right, so we'll go back inside, shall we? I'll shut a couple more greenhouse doors on my way. This one's full of cucumbers. Again, sort of dying off now because it's getting near the end of the season. But we've had tons of cucumbers. And this is the new greenhouse that I was building earlier in the year. This has got cucumbers on one side and tomatoes on the other side. Again, they've taken most of the leaves off them and that because they got late tomato blight, but there's still just a little bit of fruit still ripening on there, but they will be coming out very, very soon. Then I'm not quite sure what we're going to do with that one over the winter. Probably use that greenhouse for something else over the winter. But yeah, well, potatoes have dried, so they will be being picked up and used soon. I kicked something there. I heard it go clunk. Right. So that is that. Sunset might be reasonable tonight. So there we go. That is that. Oh, hang on. Put this in the wrong place just a sec. There you go. Right. We are now back at base and back in business. So in just a moment, I can see the chat again. In just a minute. So just bear with me a minute, and we'll try and sort it all out.
And here we are, and we should now be back on the main camera, I do believe. So I can turn that off. Thanks to Alex Broadcaster. Apps and notifications, stop that. YouTube, stop that. Then we have to start YouTube up again. And then I'll be able to see the chat again. Cool. Very cool. Here we are. I can see the chat again now. I will catch up with it in just a moment. I'll just plug it back in, and I've just realised I've got a pocket full of tomatoes. As I've sat down, and luckily I've not squashed them. You'll be pleased to know. So I will catch up with the chat in just a moment. Just bear with me 1 minute or two, and then we'll catch up. Right, I've taken the tomatoes out of my pocket now, so hopefully we'll be all right. Right. Maybe I did squash one. My pocket feels damp. No, maybe it's just cold. Right, what is everybody saying in the old chat? Wesley says, yeah, the Knights certainly are cutting in. They are, very much so. Dominic says, sadly, our box hedges were attacked by a swarm of caterpillars. They were grown from cuttings given by my late grandmother. Oh, I hope your box hedges are going to survive. Maybe they'll grow again from the bottom if caterpillars have eaten the top. It takes it a long time to grow though, doesn't it, box? It's a slow growing thing. Where it says, that's sad to hear, Dominic. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It says, oh, that's a proper watering Andy when I was out in the garden. Yeah, cucumbers like a lot of water, and I mean a lot of water. That watering can waters about 4. That big watering can that I've got, that you can do about 4 cucumbers with that. Then you have to go and refill it again. Horrible things, caterpillars, says Dominic. Yeah, I'll go along with that. Christopher says, can you show me inside one of your 8782 phones? I may well be getting my GPO 746L tomorrow. Yeah, we'll do it next week or something, Christopher. An 8782, or even as just a 782. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it next week. That because they're not the easiest things in the world to take apart and get back together again. They're even worse than the ones with the dials in. And we need to wrap up a little bit earlier today. Basically, because I've not stopped all day because I've been at that blooming windmill. It's been really busy, really busy today, and it's going to be busy this week too. But you'll be pleased to know that it's not going to be that busy this week. That we won't be doing the live show on Wednesday evening around about 11:30 on Wednesday night. Is the Andy Shed Late. It's got a cult following, shall we say, at the moment. Not as many people tend to drop in as drop onto this one, but it's got a steady following. So around about 11:30 Wednesday night for the next Andy's Shed Late, and back here next Sunday around about 6 o'clock ish, although again we might be a little bit later than that next Sunday for another Andy's Shed Live. Right, I think that it does about wrap it up for today. Thanks to everybody for watching, taking part in the chat and everything again. Before I go, just a reminder, if you want to contact us and you've not contacted us before, the way to get in touch with us initially is through the website andyshed.coldpress.net. You'll find a contact us form on there that you can fill in, and also don't forget the forum as well, where you can chat telephones or anything you like, video machines or whatever, all week long. It's at gpotelephones.proboards.com, and I have put a thing on there now that tells you step by step how to upload photographs to it as well. So I'm hoping that is helping some of you. So that is cool, and if you like what we do, like I always say, you can always go and spend £1 a month by supporting us on Patreon. There's a Patreon address, patreon.com/Andy's Shed. Right, that really is about it for this week. Any of you who are wondering about what's happening with the grotty old waterproof phone, the weatherproof phone that I got last week, it's still down here. It's still grotty as ever. I've got to get a special screwdriver to get into it, to get the things off the back, because it's got little sort of fancy headed bolts or machine screws on the back that I need to get out. So I've got to get a fancy screwdriver before I can show you inside that. But we are working on it, so that'll be on maybe next week or the week after, whenever I can finally get the thing apart, basically. So that will be coming up. I've got that stupid top chat thing on again. Live chat, not top chat. Thank you. That's better. Right, I can see things that I couldn't see before now. Dominic says that Wednesday show's a bit late for me usually, but if I'm having a sleepless night, I'll drop in. Yeah, or you can always watch it after the event, remember, Dominic. You can always watch it the following day or something. Christopher says he's maybe getting his new N1900E240 phone tomorrow, maybe. Stick some photos in the forum if you get it, Christopher. I'm sure everybody will want to see. Dominic says, cheers all, have a great week. Wesley echoes that, as does Gambo, and I'm going to echo it myself too. Thanks to everybody as usual for watching today and bearing with us. We've still been on air for about an hour and 18 minutes, and there's not actually been a great deal on today, so crikey, how long will it be when it's busy? But yeah, remember we're back on Wednesday night, around about 11:30, give or take a bit, and then we are back again on Sunday, again around about 6, give or take a bit, next Sunday, because again I'm going to be running around. Latest news from Gambo, he says that the pendant phone's sold. Excellent news, Gambo, excellent news. So you've got a few pennies now to go and buy a different one then, Gambo. I should also at this point out the shop, shouldn't I? Really? It's andysemporium.coldpress.net for phone parts and model railway kits. andysemporium.coldpress.net. I've not got a graphic with it on at the minute, but yeah, andysemporium.coldpress.net. Oh, hang on, I have got a graphic with it on. It's there. That's it. That's the shop address. Like I say, various original telephone parts, no reproduction stuff. Proper original GPO and telecom phone parts available on there. and also our own line of model railway kits, of which some have now been painted like this little narrow gauge tanker. This is our own range of deliberately cheap narrow gauge. This is what they call 009 in the UK. Cheap narrow gauge plastic kits that we're manufacturing here. So if you fancy doing a bit of 009 railway modelling and you want some rolling stock, then andy'semporium.coldpress.net is the place to go to find out about our range of kits there. We even got a little brake van. So I've been painting these up because I hadn't painted any, and so I've been painting them up ready to do a little photo shoot with them. But there's a little brake van that we've done, narrow gauge. Cool. Right, that really is it. Apparently Gambo's bits and pieces on eBay sold for quite a good price as well. It's only a good price if you're selling, not a good price if you're buying. It's the inverse if you're buying. Right, but you never know. Maybe Gambo will just go out and buy another phone with the proceeds. I think you should. What should Gambo buy? Let him know what he should buy with the proceeds from the sale of his pendant bits and pieces. While you're all having to think about that, it's pizza time for me now. I will see you all next week. Before I go, Chris says, I saw a rare PTE 706 clone phone on eBay. PTE? What's PTE? 706 clone? I don't know. You have to explain that one to us, Christopher, in the forum. I'm not sure what a PTE 706 clone is. Or is it one of those from Portugal? Is it one of those? Right. Anyway, while they're all thinking about that, yeah, Dominic doesn't know what it is either, apparently. While they're all thinking about that, I'm going to go and have my pizza. We will see you back here on Wednesday, and if you can't make it Wednesday because, well, quite frankly, you've gone to bed by then, and who would blame you? We'll be back here around about 6 o'clock next Sunday for another Andy Shed Live. So until then, remember, say thank you to the patrons who are going to pop up on your screen any minute now, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra!